All right, welcome in. So I had an opportunity to jump into the Delta Force gameplay here. So now it's released. There's a limited time release or alpha. I'm not sure exactly what they're calling it here. All I know is I got the invite along with a ton of other people. So it's very active servers here. So taking a look at some gameplay to start with here. Just kind of highlighting how we've got a little bit of Battlefield mixture with like Call of Duty with its own little twist. A lot of it is Battlefield scale, so Battlefield size maps and even how they look, but you kind of lack the destruction that you would have in a Battlefield game, so it's more got that COD mix. Gun plays pretty fast. It's a good hybrid between Battlefield and Call of Duty. It's definitely fitting a Battlefield desire right now, or a lack thereof, due to a lot of the missed window that they've had. So I definitely can see the void that it's coming in to fill here. You're going to see the gameplay here. I mean, you've got a revive system that looks very similar to Battlefield. You've got the character icons, then the lights that look very similar to Battlefield, the objective captures. I mean, we're playing breakthrough at this point, right? So there's multiple objectives to capture before you advance the sector. You've got the resing system with downed allies. You've got green friendlies and blue squads instead of green squads and blue friendlies, so it just flipped the Battlefield colors directly. Pretty interesting choice here. You can see the battle map. I mean, clearly this looks like Battlefield. Like, it's actually kind of crazy how identical it looks. Now I know, like, when Call of Duty did their conquest style game modes, it looked similar, but it wasn't exactly like the same cube system that they've got here. I mean, Battlefield obviously has gone from cubes to circles. It's like really nitpicking here, but I mean, it looks exactly like it. The gameplay does feel like it. You've even got your call-in radial wheel a la in Battlefield 5. So I mean, you've got like your point streak system. I mean, it's the same sort of dial that you're calling in, coordinates from, and so there's a lot of very similar things here, which isn't the end of the world. I think that it's actually probably a good thing that we've got another competitor to maybe wake up the gaming sphere, because we know that Battlefield has gotten a little lackadaisical in the last few releases here. We know that their initiatives have been lackluster despite all their claims, and so it's really good, in my opinion, to see a direct competitor come out. And this thing, I mean, this is free to play, and right now I'm showing you what looks like the breakthrough game mode, so it's kind of their conquest style game mode, but they've also got a whole tactical shooter extraction royale game mode in the mix as well. Again, this is all going to be free to play, and so it'll be interesting to see kind of what barriers come with that. But I jumped in a couple of the extraction modes earlier, and even that was just so seamless, right? It got a Tarkov-esque setup, right? So it's your hardcore kit management, but yet it's more forgiving, and the gunplay is extremely forgiving. I mean, I was able to jump in, get a few squad wipes in my first match, and then extract successfully through completing some puzzles. I mean, it was actually really interactive and really fun. Follow that up with going in again, getting a few gunfights and losing those in the next match. And it just really goes to show you that you can walk in and play this day one. I mean, that's something that may be overlooked. I think we can all agree that Battlefield has spent some time reinventing the wheel in an unnecessary way, in a way that I don't think was totally necessary or has been totally asked for at this point. And so it's just interesting to see that you've got major conflicts from what the people want versus what is being produced. I mean, when you come to this, this is an alpha invite, right? And the servers are totally loaded. I had no problem getting in, playing games, full lobbies, highly competitive, down to the wire. I mean, it's like already a hugely interactive game, and this is just day one, but you can just see the groundwork for what they've got. Another Battlefield component that we're working with here is that they went with the highly contentious, hero soldier, hero shooter archetypes, right? So you've got your classes, you've got your class purposes, but you've also got hero-esque abilities or class-specific abilities, right? Because they're all the same characters, just dressed up in different color schemes for what team you're on. And right now there's only about 6 characters. I believe you get 4 unlocked to start, so just working with the basic classes. But I mean, they just streamlined the Battlefield woes of 2042, trying to figure out what they're doing with their class system, and who they're making, who they're trying to satisfy with what sort of structure they're having. I think that a lot of Battlefield players would have preferred just the infantry soldier just doing their part, and then the hero shooter aspect was left for Call of Duty, which seemed like a good divide. But instead they tried to jump on that train. I think that having an identity out the gate definitely would just help with that. I think that this game doesn't pretend to be something that it's not as far as what they're offering. I mean, you can see even in my squad I've got 2 of the same people, right? So I mean, we're not fooling anybody. We know what we are. We know what classes we're breaking into. Not my particular cup of tea. I'd rather just be like recon or just be assault or support, whatever it may be. I think that makes more sense than seeing 17 versions of the same character, but still very competitive matches, very fun. I mean, this first game that we won, we pulled off with 6 reinforcements left. So I mean, just a nail biter, right? It gives you that Battlefield rush. There's vehicles in the game as well. You see a couple of vehicles on the second map here. They're not too crazy because the quantity already seems extremely manageable, right? Like, so they're extremely tough and difficult to fight against, and they are powerhouses, but at the same time you're not running in to 7 or 8 of them on the same at the same instance, right? So I mean, it's not something that you can't handle as a squad, and it obviously encourages, right, squad diversity and playing the right classes to mix with the right team. And so it's got a lot of good things going for it, right? In scenes like this, I get like that Call of Duty mechanics, right? There's a character that's got the power slide to him, right? So you're crouch slide, and it just feels a little more arcadey than like your hardcore Battlefields or your traditional Battlefield games. But I mean, at the same time, it's still scratching that itch. It still gives you that larger scale dynamic fighting, 2 objectives at the same time, which ups the scale pretty significantly. I mean, again, these firefights feel very natural. They feel very good. Walk in day 1 and you've got a seriously fully fledged experience here. I mean, you can more maps, different operators, same classes, different special abilities. The special abilities too didn't seem too crazy. There's a lot to do with the revealing system here, so you do see a lot of enemy pings and enemy characters highlighted throughout the game. That's just something that might need to get taken down a little bit, but again, I don't think they're trying to do something super hardcore realistic, right? They're not going for that tactical shooter, that Insurgency Sandstorm experience. They're not going for that Tarkov experience. They're going for something a little easier, a little more user friendly, right? And you can see that throughout the gameplay. Even when I was doing that tactical shooter, right, so you have to take the right ammo in, but you don't have to worry about clips, right? You don't have to worry about mags. So that's just a little quality of life thing, a little entry barrier that eases everything up, right? Your hardcore enthusiast might not appreciate that, but I don't think that that's who this is for. This is for the general public, right? So I think that this is definitely a huge step in the right direction is in the first-person shooter world that we have been lacking lately. I'm definitely super excited to get back into some more games here. There's some pretty decent weapon variety, attachment unlocks that come with progression, and so there's a lot to look forward to here. I do think that there's definitely some things I would pinpoint, some things that I could improve upon, but let's just keep it pretty positive. All things considered, I'd see this as a win for the Sphere. If this is free to play, I'm definitely super excited to see what comes out and super excited to see kind of the direction that it goes. Definitely, I know I'm not the only one kicking out gameplay of this right now, so I just want to throw it out there, see if anybody else has seen or heard anything that maybe I didn't bring up, and definitely would like to talk about it more. So, I'm going to round it out here with a few more sweet shots and spray and pray, and, just enjoy the show here for the last minute, and let me know what you think below. Thanks for tuning in.